All right, so yesterday we're going to start this off with the service writer and the technicians, or whatever, service writer, technicians, service manager, shop foremans. There's going to be some conflicts going on between all parties, especially when the customer says, we're just going to use this as an example. I need my exhaust replaced, and people don't just show up to the shop and say I need my exhaust system replaced because they want to have a new exhaust system, right? That just doesn't happen here in Cinnaminson, New Jersey. So when we have our new system, Techmetrics, which I'm still not in love with, and I don't think I'm ever going to warm up to it. So I walk up to the counter, and we have a clipboard that shows the vehicles here with the customer concerns, right? The customer has to say why they're here, right? There's no reason for us to do business. The customer can't tell me why they're here, or give me some type of a sniff on why they're here. So, customer wants exhaust replaced, has a noise. So Jude brings the car into the shop, and I don't hear it start up in the parking lot, which, because I try and be involved in everything. And then he's bringing it into the shop, and he has to accelerate up onto the drive-on ramps. I still don't hear any exhaust leaks or anything. I'm like, hey Jude, do you hear anything? He's like, no, turn the AC off. I heard the timing chain over the AC. I hear the timing chain with the AC off. So I'm like, all right, maybe he's just hearing the timing chain rattle, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Go take this car for a ride and just have a sneaky suspicion it's not really an exhaust problem. And then Jude goes for a road test. He's like, yeah, the rear wheel bearings are screaming. Some people don't know, or they do know, or the last shop that they were at told them that they needed something that necessarily is not going to fix their car. So a lot of thought goes into what we have to do. And now we have a communication issue between the customer saying, I need my exhaust fixed from the point of where the last shop fixed it up to the engine. And that's kind of how this conversation unfolded. And you'll see under the car that there's a new section of the exhaust. It wasn't a very large section, it was a very small section. So I put it up in the air, and I look at the repair work that was done, and then a small percentage of the exhaust system was fixed. The front half was still original, the back half was still original. So I think I don't even know. And that happens between another shop, a customer, their buddy's a mechanic, and their neighbor, and on and on and on. I saw it online, I heard it on YouTube or TikTok. So then I'm like, all right, put it up in the air, the timing chain's rattling, the front pipe is not leaking, it's weathered. I wouldn't even recommend replacing it because I don't really have any reasons unless I'm going to touch it. So if I'm going to touch it and I see that it's weathered and worn, chances are it's going to break in my hands when I handle it, and the customer needs to know that it's going to become an issue. But I see no reason to touch. What he's saying is he wants that replaced from the section that was serviced up to his engine. And the section from that new section to the back of the car wasn't in great shape, but there was no issues with it. And then I look at the back tires. They're getting ready to blow the treads right off of them, but they're not chopped, which doesn't give an audible wheel bearing sign, but they're just dangerous as it is. Somebody was working on the suspension at one time in the back and left an upper link loose. And then the body shields over top of the mufflers have rusted off and fell down on top of the mufflers, but weren't really that noisy. But they would make a little bit of noise. So I was like, all right, well, that's simple. Take those things, throw them in the trash. Advise the customer on wheel bearings and tires, of course, and look further into the suspension. The oil change sticker was faded. So then I get Rachel out in the shop, and she's like, why isn't that car in here? And I explained to her, what we see, what we feel. Maybe the customer's not communicating. Maybe you heard it wrong. We don't know, but there's conflict between the whole thing. And it could have been just simple. We could have just brought the car in, did what the customer wanted, and sent him out with his car still having the same problem, which I do not want to do. Right? I could have just said
there was still been a noise.
correct. The customer said I want a new front pipe is basically what he was saying based on his last shop experience. He obviously was an exhaust shop. That he wants a new front pipe. He certainly would have left with the same exact problem with a $1,500 bill because his front pipe cat assembly. So then Rachel's like, no. He explained to me what happened at the other shop. He needs a new front pipe, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Go get the car and bring it in. You tell me what you hear. Rachel does the same thing Jude does, brings it in the shop, pulls it up on the lift. She goes, I heard it. I'm like, what did you hear? I heard a noise from the exhaust. Did you drive the car? No. Okay. So now we're going to put the car up in the air together, and you and I are going to look at this exhaust system. And I put it up in the air. She's like, oh yeah, the front pipe's starting to come apart. She goes, but where's the noise coming from? The noise is not coming from his front pipe. So we got Rachel to get, that out of her head, and we're going to get that out of the customer's head, unless he really wants to waste money on a part and labor that he does not need because his car really needs so many other things. And then I said, all right, let's look at the back of the car, show her the tires and the muffler shields. I said, chances are what he's hearing every once in a while is the muffler shields rattling, but I don't know how he's hearing that over the hub bearing screaming in the back and the timing changes. You follow me? And there's so many other loud audible noises in this car. Extremely loud audible. On top of the suspension clunking and banging in the back too. Some customers don't really know. They only know what another shop told them. So then after we talked to Rachel about everything, we talked to the customer and let him know that, hey, what you think from whoever said is not what you really need, sir. At some point in time later on down the road, you will need a new front pipe, but today you need other repairs. And this guy will be so much happier when he drives his car Monday morning and picks it up. It's going to almost be like a new car with a time and chain rattle.
Right.
And some rear suspension pieces that need to be serviced. But compared to what he brought in, it kind of sounds like my truck. Screaming and all that. And then he's going to be like, if I can mute you, I would. It would be dead silent in this car now other than a slight time and chain noise that he will never hear, because if you're not trained to hear that, you won't notice it. But that's where our conflict came with the service writer and the shop department. Sometimes the customer doesn't know what's best for the vehicle. I say most of the time, most of the customers have no idea what's good for their vehicle, other than they're trying to communicate what's wrong with it, and may not even know that there's many, many more underlying safety issues that they can't hear on top of why they're there, because the car is so loud. And I've had this happen many times when people come in with a loud exhaust system and it's vibrating and sounds like a top fuel dragster or a Mack truck, and then you make the exhaust system whisper quiet, and then they're like, hey, I got this rattle or this clunk I never heard before. What did you do to my car? That was always there because your exhaust system has been falling apart over the years, and finally it's so loud you have no idea what's wrong with your car. But that's where it came from, the confusion and conflict with service writer to technicians, and I'm sure that goes on everywhere. We're saying the car needs all this, and the customer thinks that their car is perfect, when it's not, because some people don't know what a car in good condition should feel like, because they've been driving weathered and worn out vehicles their entire life. When they step into a new car, it is like stepping into a new home. If you've never had a new home, you would never know what a new home is unless you went into a brand new home. You follow me? Or if you've never had a brand new mattress or a brand new pillow, I'll make that relationship. So, thanks for watching.